turning pages, night turning days. I'm tired of waiting. I gotta make it.
So, in that turn, do you think we should be more aggressive for the buyout market or the trade market?
Ooh,
Or does it
it's
depend?
gonna be. Well, are the Lakers gonna be that aggressive in the buyout market now? Because so many of these teams, I feel like, have dropped off, and it has opened spots up for new teams. And could we be one of those new teams that like come in? Because if we didn't trade for Rondo like how we did, we were probably gonna finalize a buyout for him later on anyway. Because Lakers really they didn't trade anything or get back anything for Rondo, and they're looking to potentially get rid of Kent Bazemore now, DeAndre Jordan. So you know that they're definitely getting rid of players. So I think would Kent Bazemore, would he be an all right guy in Cleveland? Do you reckon? Is he someone we should look at?
He'd be good for another vet.
Yeah.
He wouldn't answer. I think he would be a more seasoned Denzel Valentine, in my personal opinion. He could also be another ball handler because he's more experienced. He understands what to do. But in terms of shooting, I don't think he solves that problem. He could temporarily give us a wing, though, because we could put him at the small forward, and I think he would be decent to get us through. But I don't know if that's a target for us. Now, like you said, though, if he comes available and that is the best available for us, I think we have to take a chance because I think we all agree the Cleveland Cavaliers can truly make it to the offs. And we need as much experience around our young guys to make sure they understand what this means. So as you say that, when you say the buyout market could be very important, I can kind of visualize that now in my mind because, like you said, it's a lot of teams that's trying to rebuild their team that's playoff contenders. Like the Lakers, like they're about to buy out a lot of talent, trying to make space. Like they essentially got rid of Rondo to free up another cap space or another roster spot for I think it was Stanley Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson. Yeah.
So yeah, this could be very entertaining for us too, because Lakers, if they drop Kent Bazemore or DJ or let's say who else could have a potential to be dropped on the Lakers.
They've definitely got a couple. Like Rondo was on that list. Like there could have been a buyout for him any second, and we were just lucky we were the team that kind of got in and traded for him. To be honest.
Yeah, because then you got Milwaukee who just dropped DeMarcus Cousins, which was I did not see that coming. And it was crazy. He was doing well the night they dropped him. So yeah, I can understand your point of view on that. That makes sense.
I wouldn't be surprised if we actually kept like close watch on Cousins, especially if we had like another situation where Allen was to like go out with COVID. Like, if Allen's going out with COVID, like, we struggled in the last couple of weeks. I think we need to bring in a dominant, one of those dominant starting centers that, like, and people will say DeMarcus Cousins isn't a dominant guy. He signed for, like, 10 days, and then he was dropping, like, 12 and 8 or something per game, which is really, really good numbers for a guy that has not played in ages. Like, that is insane. He's much more dominant than like Ed Davis, if you know what I mean. So he'd be like one of those guys that I would for sure look at, and then just keep playing Ed Davis in his role because Ed Davis would be too valuable, I think, to waive because I think he's actually been a really good locker room guy for us this year. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if like Kevin Pangos got waived.
Oh, he should though.
Yeah,
he should. The games I watched him, that was almost embarrassing to see. Like, don't get me wrong, maybe this team wasn't for him play style wise, but he's for sure not the guard or backup guard we would need for sure. Because yeah, the game I watched, I was almost scratching my eyes out. And I understand we had a lot of players out. We had Garland out, we had Jared out. We had just basically lost Ricky Rubio. So, a lot of that was affected, but it was just the offense was really, really stagnant. And it was already kind of like that, and it was worse. So, I would definitely waive him. And with Boogie, too, because the reason why I'm kind of liking that now is because I'm looking at Evan Mobley. That would be the best center for his play style to be under, just off of the premise of how Boogie was never a traditional center. Like he was more offensive minded. He was crafty. He was a pretty good defender. Probably not
Yeah, back
as
in the
good of a
day, yeah.
perimeter defender as Evan Mobley is already, but in terms of a inside defender, being able to pick and pop, pick and roll, post
Yeah.
move, which we want Evan Mobley to gain, I think Boogie would be perfect, and his attitude too. So they could use him as one of those guys. If they try to rough up Evan Mobley, you put Boogie in there, and he can rough that player. Tell him, hey,
Yeah.
my
His
guy.
attitude might actually suit Cleveland too, because we're looking for like those rough players that are like all in it. I
Yeah,
think he'd actually be all right for that. I reckon Pangos has fully lied about his height too. He's listed as like 6'1", same as Darius Garland, but he looks like he's a head shorter than him.
yeah,
He does
he's
not look that
not,
tall.
no, he doesn't. He doesn't, man. And it
I think,
tells.
yeah, he needs to go play in like Europe or something because he's too small for the NBA. Just he could be like one of those guys that if he was a little bit quicker and a little bit taller, he could actually be a really solid player in the NBA. But it's just not there for him. But I'm pretty sure he's a pretty good full court defender as well, which is a big like Euro League thing and a NBL Australian basketball thing too. And they don't really do full court presses in like the NBA, so like he's like a big defensive thing kind of just got taken away from him, and he's had to play like 1-on-1. So that might be like that could also be another thing that like might not have been as good for him. But do we roll with Brandon Goodwin? Is he the new guy? Do you reckon? Does he get the contract?
I would give him another 10-day extension just to see how the chemistry. Now that we got our whole team kind of back, well, our young
Yeah,
guys, I would just see how that works now. But I can see him, being a long-term role or backup point guard, backup guard for us. Because I think guards like him we do need off the bench too. Because eventually we are going to have to give let's say Garland and Colin Sexton rest, right? And realistically, if Colin comes back, we're probably not going to bench Colin, assuming we don't move him. So it would only make sense to have a player ready. So I think he for sure. I think if you give him another 10 days, see how he goes. If he's still kind of meshing with this system, I think you might as well sign
yeah.
him for the rest of the year.
I actually liked what he did last game. It was just that turnover at the end where everyone was like, "Oh, he sucks. He played a bad game." But like in reality, he actually played all right, and he was. I mean, he got big minutes at the end of the game for a reason because he was good during most of it. So I wouldn't be. I think JB likes him too because he is like he is actually a pretty decent scorer. His 3-point shooting hasn't looked great, but if he gets that figured out, he could be a really solid guy for us. Do
JB
you
likes
reckon?
those pretty guys.
That's Atlantis with that money.